Good morning, St. Luke's. When I was a kid, if something didn't work, like a TV or a radio or a toaster, yes, we used to have those things, you shut it off and let it rest a minute, and then you turned it back on. Often that would work. Sometimes we'd just bang on or kick whatever wasn't working, and sometimes that worked for us too, but mostly that meant we just broke a lot of stuff or injured ourselves. It turns out that we humans are a lot like appliances. We don't respond well to being kicked, and we can rejuvenate and improve our performance just by turning off for a while. Just as our muscles need a break after a tough workout, so do our brains. So it also turns out, and this is the big neuroscientific breakthrough in the last decade or so, it also turns out that we can train our brains to perform better by learning to give them a break. This is why it's effective to take study breaks every 30 or 45 minutes. You will actually study better after a break, a real break from all screens and distractions. Taking time out improves focus and concentration. Amazingly, it can also make us more creative. And that's what I want to talk with you about today. The importance of giving your busy brains a break. I also want to tell you about my personal experiences in this area, because I've been very busy getting my brain less busy. I've been on a journey, and I'm still on it, to learn how to turn inward and rest so that when I turn outward, I can be my best, most focused, balanced, and compassionate self. We all have our own ways of turning inward. Some of us go for a run, or curl up with a book, listen to music or play music. Maybe you draw or just lie down and look up at the ceiling or the sky. Everyone has their own way of putting distractions aside, and no method is better than another as long as you have a tool for resting your brain. A few years ago, I started turning inward almost every day by practicing meditation. Not this kind of meditation that I'm doing right now, but the practice of meditating, which includes contemplation, thinking, and reflection. And actually, the idea for this meditation came to me while I was meditating. For me, meditation, my unplugging, involves sitting in a quiet place for about 20 minutes, usually at home early in the morning. I use an app called Insight Timer that offers guided meditations on a variety of themes and topics. You can choose any length of time, from 1 minute to hours, but my typical guided meditation takes 10 or 11 minutes. For the remaining time, I sit quietly, focusing on my breath and whatever else arises. If you're thinking, I could never sit there just breathing, I'd go insane, well, welcome to the club. Very few people can sit down and meditate effortlessly. We all struggle with a restless mind. In fact, most of us do everything we can to avoid silence, preferring instead to fill in silence by checking our texts and social media, watching videos, listening to music or talk radio, watching TV, anything to avoid the unbearable quiet or boredom that we associate with silence. I really struggled. I thought, I'm not cut out for this stuff, but I'm so glad I persisted and I didn't give up. Many people think meditating means going blank, completely turning off your mind in a trance-like state, almost like sleeping. But nothing could be farther from the truth. Meditating can be deeply relaxing and rejuvenating, but it's an active practice that balances deep relaxation with awareness and concentration. It's nothing magical. Literally anyone can do it with some practice, but the benefits can be immense. This form of giving my brain a rest has improved my life. It has given me techniques for self-care that I can practice almost anywhere. It has enabled me to better understand my wandering and distracted mind, and as a result, to concentrate better when I really need to. It has taught me to accept life's inevitable ups and downs more easily than I used to. People who know me well say I seem more patient and compassionate. I hope that's true, but I can certainly cite many recent examples when I was neither patient nor compassionate. As with all qualities, patience and compassion require constant attention and cultivation. In fact, one rarely experiences dramatic change during or after a single meditation. But over time, with close attention, we can see signs of progress and growth. My experience with meditation has led me into a deep dive on how schools can adopt meditation practices to benefit students and teachers. Many people refer to these practices under the broad category of mindfulness, and I've attended many national conferences on mindfulness, and some of you may know and be very well aware that St. Luke's actually started a mindfulness and education conference 2 years ago for educators and parents. It launched then, and we plan to have our third one next year, possibly with sessions for students. Based on solid scientific evidence and research and my own experience, I believe meditation and other forms of resting your brain are good for students, good for people in general. And I'm telling you this because I know each of you has a busy and sometimes stressful life. Homework, practice, tests you haven't studied for, social media, seeing friends, time for family, college essays. All of us worry, can I get it done? Can I get it all done well? Will I get into college? Can I live up to expectations? I'm probably stressing most of you out right now, aren't I? So imagine getting a break from all those worries. And imagine that break actually reduced your worries by making you feel more clear-headed, more focused, and more peaceful. You don't need to do a formal morning routine like I do. Just find a quiet place, take a few deep breaths, and sit there for a minute or two. It's amazing how different you feel after doing simply that. Taking time to breathe and just be is the human version of unplugging an appliance in order to get it to turn back on. Think of it this way: unplug to recharge. Speaking of recharging, as you know, I've been given a gift by the St. Luke's community. I'll be going on a sabbatical in 6 months, right after homecoming, and returning in April. As Mrs. Gabriel demonstrated during her presentation yesterday, you are in her very capable cheese-making and dulcimer-playing hands. She's amazing, and we couldn't be in better hands. For those not familiar with the idea of a sabbatical, though, it's basically a break from work when you can travel, study something new, or see your grandchild. It's the ultimate opportunity to recharge. I'll be meditating, reading, cuddling that granddaughter, and just spending time with my family. I can tell you one thing, though, that I won't be doing, at least for 10 days. I will not be speaking. In January, I'm going to a 10-day silent retreat. It's going to be at a Vipassana meditation center where students observe something called noble silence. We don't talk from the beginning of the course until the end of the course 10 days later. Noble silence means silence of body, speech, and mind. Any form of communication with fellow students, whether by gestures, sign language, or written notes, is prohibited. I'll meditate for roughly 11 hours of each of the 10 days, starting at 4 in the morning until lights out at 9:30. Now you're really thinking, this guy's gone off the edge. And I get it. If someone had told me a few years ago that I would voluntarily spend my time off in 10 days of silence and 11 hours of daily meditation, I would have said, you have me confused with someone else. But I want to do this. I'm both nervous and excited about it. There's no doubt that every minute of those 10 days will challenge me in ways I've never imagined. But there's also no doubt that those 10 days will deepen my meditation practice and offer important lessons for me to consider. So before closing, I want to quote William Penn. Many of you have heard of William Penn, who was an English nobleman, a writer, an early Quaker, and the founder of Pennsylvania in 1682. Penn's statement captures why I'm doing the 10-day silent retreat and why I meditate and why I chose to spend this first meditation, very precious time with you all, on this topic. True silence is the rest of the mind and is to the spirit what sleep is to the body, nourishment and refreshment. I believe this to be true because I've experienced it. And a growing body of research confirms what Mr. Penn observed in the 1600s. Resting is as critical for your brain as food is for your body. So take brain breaks. Find what works for you. Try Insight Timer or Calm or Headspace or one of the dozens of other meditation apps. Start with 1 minute each morning or at night, and then build up to 5 minutes. See how you feel. Don't give up. And when I'm back in April, I'll let you know how my silent retreat went, and I'm hoping many of you will share an unplugged experience or two with me. So let's end now with one deep breath. Breathe in slowly. Hold it. And exhale slowly. That's it. Have a great day, and let's all go to our advisories now. Thanks.